Test. Test. Test 1, 2. haven't.
And
yet.
Carla, huh? Carla. Is Bill? I like my voice and all, but I don't like it that much.
Well, the audio should be fine at
I
home.
could have like a
is what I
Luke
understand.
Bryan voice. I mean, I got the pod. I just need the
That's
voice.
1, 2.
Telling everyone right now.
Oh, interesting.
It's already read. Everyone ready on that side? Both sides?
Personal note.
Okay. Greg, you ready?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
We'll call to order the city council meeting for Monday, February 3rd, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call, Amanda.
Mark Bittner,
Here.
Shannon Derby. Bill Leclerc,
Here.
Doug Brandt,
Here.
Tim Petrie,
Here.
Bonnie Shimalunas, Scott Steckmeister,
Here.
Adam Mahusky,
Here.
Darla Leclerc, all present.
Okay, on to number 4, consideration of any council member request to participate in this meeting from a remote location. Tonight, we have both Mark Bittner and Bill Leclerc working or off-site and wish to join us remotely. So looking for a motion to allow both of them to join us tonight.
I will make a motion to allow them to join from a remote location. That's
Something about Old Faithful.
who is that?
Hey, is someone on that has something going in the background? On the phones? Oh, now it stopped. Okay. Okay, we will continue. Adam,
Did you hear my motion?
yes.
All right.
Looking for a second. Second by Darla. Any council discussion? See none, this will be a roll call vote. Amanda?
Shannon Derby.
Aye.
Doug Brandt. Tim Petrie. Bonnie Shimalunas,
Aye.
Scott Steckmeister,
Aye.
Adam Mahusky, Darla Leclerc, all in favor.
Excellent. Welcome, gentlemen. We also have Sean, our attorney, on the line as well. On to number 5, for our public hearing, we have one of those tonight. The public hearing is for a conditional use permit application for Taco Bell with drive-through at 1803 Washington Street. Greg, any background for
Yes,
this?
this proposed use is within the B1 business zoning district because it includes a drive-through or drive-up window component. It requires a conditional use permit per the city zoning code. The site plan and the proposed, the specifics related to the drive-through were reviewed by the Plan Commission. Actually, at 2 meetings in January. At the regular meeting, there was a recommendation for approval of the drive-through with conditions as identified in the conditional use permit document that's in your packet. Plan Commission further reviewed the site and architectural plans for the site at a special meeting that followed that meeting and likewise recommended approval. The conditions related to this conditional use are set forth in the conditional use permit. I did have a couple of suggestions, which I'll just throw out there as suggestions. They are not part of the Plan Commission's recommendation. They're in a memo that's in your packet. They're pretty basic, but suggesting that with regard to the, if you will, use by date on the conditional use permit, striking the words that that the permit would be void unless proper application for building and zoning permits is made within 24 months of the date hereof, would suggest instead a specific date on or before the 24-month anniversary of tonight's date. We've recognized on some recent conditional use permits, there's a little ambiguity when you say the date hereof, because sometimes they're signed, typically they're signed on a different date than when the council approves them. The second proposed change would be for condition number 7. That presently reads, after 1 year of business operations, the Plan Commission will revisit the possibility of implementing a right turn only onto Washington Street if the police department deems necessary. Again, not taking any issue with that. The Plan Commission did not feel that restriction was necessary, but that the possibility of revisiting it should be there. Again, take it whatever you want, but I was suggesting that if that's worth the ability to revisit, then perhaps the CU permit should read that at any time during the life of the permit, upon recommendation of the chief of police and after review and recommendation of the Plan Commission, the council could amend the CUP to restrict vehicles exiting the drive-through to a right turn only on Washington Street. Again, those were not specifically in the Plan Commission's recommendations, simply suggested to clarify and maybe give the city council, Plan Commission, and police chief more flexibility in the future. I did advise the design consultant for Pacific Bells, the applicant, of these changes, and the indication was they did not feel those were of concern to their client. It was left that they would call back if there were concerns or email. I've not heard from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the recommendation of the Plan Commission. I would note it was just a little over 2 years ago, that the council, Plan Commission and the council visited the issues of drive-throughs along Washington in the downtown area. There was a proposal to not allow any new drive-throughs that would enter or exit off Washington Street. What was ultimately adopted was that that new driveway approaches could not be created onto Washington, nor driveway approaches modified for new drive-through uses. In this case, the proposed use makes use of an existing curb cut driveway approach. So with that as background, over to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Greg. So this is a public hearing. We'll have 3 calls. If you wish to speak about this one particular item for the conditional use permit, please step up to the podium on your left and state your name and address for the record. I'll now open up the first call for this public hearing. Okay.
Hi, my name is Melissa Nyson. This is my sister and partner, Amanda. I live at 130 Park Road in Two Rivers, and we are working on a pilot in. First of all, we want to say how impressed we are with everything that you guys have done to this town. It's really been amazing, and that's what made us decide to invest here, was Central Park, was all the local businesses. Just the pride and the community is just, you guys have done a great job. So the Taco Bell, we're a little disappointed being right in the middle of the heart of the town. I mean, we're not opposed to Taco Bell, but just the location right across from Central Park, where you set it up for kids and families, and now we've got a drive-through like so close, is a little concerning. And it's also setting a precedent. I mean, if this is approved, I feel like it could attract more chains. And is that the direction you guys want to go? I mean, do you want the family restaurants? This would have been a deterrent for us if there was a chain next door, Taco Bell. We have Starbucks, but we feel like that kind of attracts highway traffic. It's a little bit different. And it's not in the main part of town. And the drive-through is off to the side street. So,
And if I can just add, like, this is such a beautiful town with this historic downtown area. And we looked at the strategic plan and we love that you're really trying to preserve it. And it has such a unique quality. And we just hope that it keeps that, because we're just worried. We don't want it to look like every other town with every other franchise. You know, it's such a beautiful community. And we hope that the heart of the downtown kind of remains like a local place, you know, where there's a lot of independently owned businesses that are unique and special. So we really hope that whatever happens here, there is a precedent to continue to preserve these local businesses and just not have it become like a fast food cluster, because we're worried what that would do to the long-term economic, you know, development in the area. Thank you.
Thank you both. Still on the first call. Come on up if you want to talk. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Justin Allness. My partner Nathan Halsey. I live at 1317 Oriole Drive in Manitowoc. We just are opening Pop Start Pizza here in town. I think we kind of just really want to echo what was already said, but yeah, I guess for us, you know, at 1033 22nd Street, you know, I'm local from Valders, but my experience, I was trained in working in, I guess, tourism meccas of Napa Valley, New Orleans, Louisiana, and Charleston, South Carolina. So coming back to town, Greg's heard this story, got relocated here with my wife. The gist of it is, kind of thought my career was maybe at a standstill in this area. You know, we came upon Two Rivers and really fell in love with the idea of this becoming a tourism attraction, in the sense of you're at the doorstep of Door County, and this is having this perspective of what a tourism community, what those cities, what those layouts are, whether they're big or small. Obviously, I mentioned New Orleans. People are well aware of that. If you look at the French Quarter, there isn't a chain in the French Quarter. This is your heart. Now, I could say the same about the historic district in Charleston, South Carolina. These are large cities, but what's interesting is in Napa, the St. Helena, California, which is probably one of the flagship cities, if you will, in Napa Valley, 6,000 people. Calistoga, kind of a sister community or city, also about 6,000 population. There's 30 restaurants. This is a food and wine area, but it's a very small town feel. So what I imagined when taking this business and this plan, and kind of what I thought the Two Rivers vision was the idea of being this picturesque, small niche lakefront community. We're attracting large markets from Chicago and larger. I mean, when I was in real estate while looking for this, I had more out-of-state buyers for this area than in-state or in the area. A lot of people looking for those vacation homes. They can work remotely. They want that picturesque. So with St. Helena, to echo that, there's 30 restaurants. There's one chain. It was off the beaten path. It's not about not having chains. It's about what is the appeal? What is the appearance? The word drive-through is just that. It's a drive-through. If your drive-through is on Main Street, are you trying to be a drive-through city, or are you trying to be the destination? So when you think about what a picturesque, quaint beach community along the lake looks like, any photo we have of the city, of anybody who's coming from out, whether it's for Apple Fest or anything on the main drag, you will now have a Taco Bell. There is nothing memorable about a fast food chain. Nobody goes on vacation and says, hey, remember that Taco Bell we got? They're looking for that as a convenience item. And frankly, I think it'd be great development if it was in a different spot, even if it was closer to the edge of Washington or the main drag. But that's just wanted to bring my perspective on kind of like, not to not to echo in the sense of like, hey, we wouldn't have believed in the city as much if we knew there's a Taco Bell right here, but it's definitely a bit of a shift in what, my experience and what tourism cities, big and small, look like from a picturesque, quaint beach, community. So just wanted to kind of echo their statement and kind of bring my perspective is like why I was so convicted in Two Rivers being the right spot. Aside from Manitowoc, if you wanted to look at Sheboygan, A Street, not a single chain on A Street. These are local communities and cities that have thrived or built themselves on tourism. So it's just something that I would say to consider, as Two Rivers, I think, has really made a turn, and I believe in it. And obviously we've invested. Yeah, so yeah, that's it.
Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Gina Cron, 3721 Adams Street. What drew me to Two Rivers, the first time we came down, before we bought the old St. Luke Chapel, or St. Luke Church, sorry. The first time we came down here, there was, the Hamilton factory was half torn down. So we drove past and it was just a bunch of rubble. And I told my husband, I said, keep driving, I'm scared. So the following year, when we came down and the building was still for sale, and I looked to my left and I saw the beautiful red tugboats parked, in the water. And it truly was the most picturesque scene. It was like I'm literally coming from Green Bay, and 30 miles south of Green Bay, it was like, my goodness, look at this. We have just captured its Mayberry, and it's the epitome of just beauty. The Christmas card that I sent home to my family that year was just, it was a picture of the fishing village at night. And just anyways, because they kept asking me, why did you pick up and move to Two Rivers? What's happening down there? And I finally said, here it is. This is why. My children call it, the old time. It's just capturing this, this serenity in this picturesque, beautiful coastal town. So after restoring the first historic building, that led us to purchase the old bank building and open up Cool City Brewing, because again, it was another building downtown that has a lot of history and a lot of historic features, and these buildings that can be brought back to life. I also am absolutely not opposed to a Taco Bell. As a matter of fact, if we're in a big hurry and we're, randomly driving in, any city USA, we certainly would pull through a Taco Bell drive-through and, grab something for the kiddos. So definitely not opposed to a Taco Bell. I just think that the location is not right for this downtown. And I am now hearing, if myself included, as the third business owner that has spoken tonight, or sorry, 3 parties of business owners that have spoken tonight. I think the voice is pretty unanimous that none of us are opposed to a Taco Bell in Two Rivers, but it certainly sounds as though business owners in this town are opposed to having it on our main drag. And again, I want to echo the same thing that they said. I don't know that I would have made the investment here to begin with if, if the waterfront wasn't visible and we weren't in this picturesque, beautiful area that we are. So anyway, thank you for listening. That's just my perspective.
Thank you. Still in the first call if anyone wants to talk. Otherwise, I'll close the first call and move on to the second call.
Mr. President, I would just note for the record, and I know it's in your packets, but Mr. Heller, who provided a letter in support of the proposed conditional use, did ask that that be noted for the record. So that letter's in council packets and expresses support for the proposed conditional use.
Thank you.
Yep.
Now close the second call and open up the third and final call. See no one else, I'll close the third call and bring it back to council. Looking for a motion or the recommended action motion to approve the conditional use permit with modifications recommended by the city manager. Yes, Adam.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit as recommended by the Plan Commission, with the exception that this permit shall void unless proper application pursuant to the building and zoning codes of the municipality for appropriate building and zoning use permits in conformity of this permit is made on or before February 3rd, 2027.
Looking for a second. Thank you, Tim. Council discussion. Yes, Adam.
I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that the conditional use is only for the drive-through. This is not to say no to Taco Bell. We can, even if we vote down the conditional use, they can still build there. That's not stopping them from building there. It's only for a drive-through. And with that, I would say that we aren't just a tourism community. We have tourism here, but like myself, there's 11,000 other people here that live here 365 days a year. And I have talked to a lot of them and other people in downtown that are very supportive of this. And a lot of people that say we need more fast food. There just isn't enough drive-through and there isn't enough fast food for their families that are continually on the go, whether it's coming or to basketball practice. That's the one I heard a lot of. I think it's basketball season now. So I think we hear about that a lot, especially with tournaments and other things that are going on, that there just isn't enough of that for the city of Two Rivers. Also, our main street, unlike a lot of other people's main street, ours is also a state highway. When you compare other people's main streets, it's not one of their major arteries, a highway that runs through their city. I know like Sheboygan was brought up, 8th Street, which is not a designated highway, state highway that runs through Sheboygan. We are a little bit unique there and a little bit different, especially when it comes to traffic counts. I think everyone knows traffic counts are where businesses want to be. Traffic counts here are good. And I would also reiterate that that was formerly a Hardee's that had a drive-through there in the heart of our downtown prior to Family Dollar. So that used to be a drive-through with both entrances and a fast food restaurant that was located in that exact same spot. What did I say?
Family Dollar.
Family Dollar. Sorry, Family Video. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was a Hardee's before Family Video, not Family Dollar. My correction. Thank you, Scott.
No problem.
That's it for me.
Anyone else?
Mr. President,
Yes,
I
Mark.
agree with everything Adam. I agree with what Adam has said so far. But I also went to the Planning Commission original meeting, and the developer expressed the fact that if that was restricted to a right turn only from the beginning, they would not be opposed to it all. And if we're considering there may be a potential risk of right turn only, or by turning left, or not having a right turn only requirement, why are we not making that immediate to implement with this business to get started? I'm a little concerned about summertime and traffic, the concert. You know, that's at the key corner of our park crossing with kids, families, and bikes. And I'd like to see it be a right turn only immediately. And the developer wasn't opposed to that.
Okay, I think that came from the Planning Commission that they were okay with the left-hand turn, correct?
It was pretty, as Adam can attest, was pretty extensive discussion of that issue. The Plan Commission did include the language that's in the CU condition number, what is that, 7, right now, that establishes 1 year out, there can be that review. But I can honestly say among the Plan Commission members, because of the distance from the intersection for turning traffic and the distance from the adjacent building as far as pedestrian safety on the sidewalk, there wasn't a great deal of concern there. And I'll just reiterate my second suggested point, which is cool, it's not part of the motion, was simply to say if it's important enough to be able to revisit it, why are we pigeonholing ourselves 1 year out? But that's the council's call. You know, there's a lot, I guess I would offer, there's a lot of merit in the comments that have been offered, but quite honestly, we have, from a staff and plan commission standpoint over the last 2 years, we've had a proposal that would have further limited at least ingress, egress off Washington Street for drive-throughs. Wouldn't prohibit them, because that's what Starbucks was able to accomplish with their drive-through entering and exiting from the side. And the downtown overlay district, which was something just last year that would have imposed some design requirements. There wasn't a lot of public input on either of those. So I would just encourage people, whether you agree or disagree with the decision that's made tonight, don't give up the ghost on those issues. And whether it's through the local business association, TRBA, or Main Street, which has historic preservation and good design as one of its major, I guess that's two of its major tenets. You know, those sorts of things can certainly be pursued.
Greg?
A lot of communities do, but we've had those discussions.
Yes, Bonnie, go ahead.
Yeah, I always think this is such a hard thing. I know that you, all you people that came up are unhappy with it. I always have you know, when somebody owns property, it's also difficult to tell them not to do their idea that they have for their property. And I just want to make a comment that in downtown Manitowoc on their 8th Street and so forth, they wouldn't even have, I don't believe they'd have room for a drive-through unless they put it on the old mural property. There they might have room. And somebody else does own this property, which I didn't even realize till this Taco Bell thing came up. I didn't realize the owner of that property was from out of state, actually.
Family Videos, Illinois-based entity. Yeah.
I'll probably be voting yes. I feel badly that you guys are unhappy about it, but you know, I grew up here and we never, it's like I guess we supported we do support our local businesses. I see a lot of smaller places very busy, and having local people are even going there. It's not just for tourists. I guess I'll shut up now. But I just find these decisions difficult because people come in with a vision just like you guys did. And I don't know I hate to say no to people, and you can't build that because I don't like it. I don't know.
Yes, Shannon.
I understand the concern of the business owners that have decided to make Two Rivers their home for their establishments. However, I do think it is good for our town to have more options, more job opportunities, and for the residents that do live here, that we do have practice. It's like, okay, we can call ahead and pick up or drive through, but you know, having some of those options, but having the local sit-down restaurants in those established areas will be really nice to just make our town better all around. It takes a little bit of everything, I think.
Anyone else? Okay. See nothing else. I will ask for a roll call. Amanda.
Bill Leclerc,
Aye.
Doug Brandt,
Aye.
Tim Petrie,
Aye.
Bonnie Shimalunas,
Aye.
Scott Steckmeister,
Aye.
Adam Ohusky,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc,
Aye.
Mark Bittner,
No.
Shannon Derby.
Aye.
Okay, 8-1.
Thank you all for that, and thank you those that came up and spoke. We greatly appreciate you taking your time to come here tonight and state your opinions for everything. I greatly appreciate it. On to number 6, input from the public. If you wish to address the council about something that is on this agenda or perhaps a future agenda item, please step up to the podium on your left and state your name and address for the record. Please be aware that you will have 3 minutes to address the council, which could be waived by the council president if warranted. The council may ask questions of you about the topic, but cannot discuss issues raised or make any decisions since the topic is not posted agenda item. Issues raised may be referred to the city manager or city staff for research and possible further action. Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Joel Trick. I live at 1208 Mahogany Run in Two Rivers. I'm a lifelong Wisconsin resident. I've lived in Manitowoc County for 25 years and in Two Rivers for more than 5 years. I'm an outdoor enthusiast and birder, and I've spent a lot of time in the Vanderbilt Arboretum over the last 5 years. In October of last year, I became aware of an ongoing conflict between the city and the Arboretum regarding utility issues. And because I view the Arboretum as a valuable resource for myself and the community, I directed a letter to all the council members and the city manager on October of last year. I offered my view on the value of the property for recreation and tourism and environmental equality. And I received a few brief responses from some of the council members. A few days later, we became aware of an anonymous letter that was listing concerns of the neighbors of the Arboretum. In a meeting shortly after that with John Durbrow of the Arboretum, attended by many of my neighbors, I learned that many of the issues in that letter were false, and that I had that many of the great majority of my neighbors are very supportive of the Arboretum. To demonstrate that support, 2 of my neighbors, one of whom is here, went door to door with all the residences that are adjacent to the Arboretum, who had property adjacent to the Arboretum, attained their signatures. I directed another email in December 6th of last year, again, to every council member here, along with copies of those signatures of all those people. Okay. And we recently learned that John has now asked for an electrical connection with WPS, who has a service area that adjoins the Arboretum. He stated he would need only a nominal amount of electricity for that connection. The city has so far refused to grant that connection with the stated concern about setting a precedent. I know that this is the topic of a closed session at the end of this meeting tonight. I'm speaking today on behalf of all my neighbors who greatly value the Arboretum and want to see it continue to flourish and grow. We ask that the city consider granting this exception due to the extraordinary nature of the situation. We believe it's justified due to the benefits that the Arboretum provides to the residents and visitors to the city. Okay, it's understandable that the city doesn't want to set a dangerous precedent. However, we note that in this case, the precedent would be for an entity that provides free public access to an extensive and aesthetically pleasing property for passive recreation at minimal cost to the city. The Arboretum offers many of the same benefits as a city park with none of the associated costs to the city. So we suggested if the city does receive a future request for a similar exception, it should also be required to provide these types of benefits to the community at no cost. Questions for clarification? All right.
Doesn't look like it. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else, we'll move on to number 7, council communications, letters and other communications from citizens. Yes, Adam.
I had a couple. One was addressing sidewalks on the south side. I know Greg had also had that communication and I think provided some kind of a timeline. I think Mark Bittner is aware of those sidewalks as well. He did reach out again on the same issue this week.
We will be addressing not the entirety of the south side, but a several block area that the gentleman has addressed in his communication. I think Adam and I received the most recent one. Other council members, though, have received that as well. Of course, the first round would be notice to the property owners who pointing out the deficiencies. If they, hopefully they all take care of any problems. If they don't, it would probably end up being a 2026 contract by the city. But because we've already got a contract pretty well planned for this year, and we want to give property owners time to respond. But yeah.
And our goal is to get property owner compliance, and you can certainly change your sidewalk anytime. And even if you don't, and we mark it, and we end up putting the new concrete on there, that gets billed back to the property owner. So at any time the property owner wants to fix their sidewalk, they can certainly do so at any time. But you can also call those in if they are raised or whatever else, and Department of Public Works will take a look at that as well. The other one I got was regarding the sex offender to be placed on the south side. I did forward those concerns over to Chief Meinert and Detective Glazer. I did contact them, and I think Assistant Chief Wiesner has also been in contact with Chief Meinert on that. So I think a response is probably going out. Would that be accurate? Yes. Okay. So a response will be going out to that resident with those concerns. Thank you. That's it.
That's it. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yeah, I had the same things with Adam too, with the concrete sidewalks and the sex offender thing too. So thank you for that, taking care of that. On to number 8, council reports from boards, commissions, and committees. Anyone have anything? Yes, Starla.
For Main Street, right now on February 8th, they're going to have Sweet Street Saturday. That kind of takes the place of the Spring Wine and Beer Walk. And this one, you can get some really awesome sweets. So I suggest everybody come out and partake in it. That is going to be on the 8th, and it runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so you can go, and for $15, you can get your treat bag and go from participating business to business. So you want to get your tickets before they are gone. Contact our Main Street office. Also, Main Street is looking to hire summer office assistant. That one, I think that it would be nice if people are interested, contact Main Street office as well. And then Art Street 2025, that's the banners. That's well underway. And I do believe that we still have room for more artists. So get in touch with Main Street office on that. But we always have a very good turnout for that. And it really brightens up the downtown. And also TRBA fundraising night is February 8th. And that's what I've got.
Okay. Thank you, Darla. Anyone else? The Business and Industrial Development Committee and Community Development Authority met last week.
Last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday.
Yep.
And happy to say the notes are in our packets, but we approved 4 lots in the new the phase 3 of Sandy Bay Highlands. So that makes a total of 5 lots, correct?
Correct. 5 out of 26.
5 out of 26. So even before the the pavement and concrete's down, we're already selling lots there. So that's kind of exciting. Other than that, no one else? Okay, we will then go on to number 9, City Manager's Report.
We don't have any invited guests for this evening, so I'll jump into my report. Just a winter view of Neshota Beach.
Is that sand or snow that's?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both there.
I thought.
I think it was sand that was pretty well frozen in place, at least on that day. Not much ice off the shore though, as of today. In the area of staffing, we'd like to congratulate our current, community service officer, not customer service officer. I just caught that one. Jody Miller. Jody's been with us for several years as community service officer for the police department. She, through competitive process, applied and was selected for the full-time position of police clerk and evidence technician. And police department is in the process now of filling the community service officer position because we'll soon be into the busy season. The grass starts growing again, and trash that maybe wasn't as noticeable over the winter emerges, like the crocuses in spring. And so we want to make sure we're ready to tackle that again. We also have ongoing recruitment processes that are mentioned there. There have been 2 meetings of the selection committee for city manager position. That ad will be placed by Public Administration Associates in March, and they, working with the committee, are targeting a late May, early June selection to allow for a July start date. And about 3 to 4 weeks overlap with the incumbent city manager will remain nameless. So that the wheels are turning there. We did have one interview for community development director, city planner last week. still evaluating options there for that position. Interviews are scheduled for the vacancy for a certified water plant operator in the water utility. Also not on this list, but the ad goes out Wednesday. The city is recruiting for a full-time position of lead facilities worker for parks and playgrounds in the Parks and Rec Department. So great opportunity there to be part of a great team and provide wonderful park services to the community. So that's what we have there on the personnel front. Of course, we have the February election for the superintendent of public instruction. Amanda, you want to run us through what the rules are as far as absentee voting and in-person voting for that election?
Sure. Absentee voting starts tomorrow. You can do that at the customer service window. That is during regular business hours, with the exception of Friday, February 14th. We are open till 5 p.m. Due to having to be open for voter registration. Voter registration is now considered in the closed period, meaning that you have to come in to register to vote in the clerk's office, or you can vote at the polls on election day. And then if you want to request an absentee ballot, you can either do that by mail or online at myvote.wi.gov.
That election is February 18th?
18th.
18th.
Yep.
Polls open the regular hours that day as well.
Correct.
Okay, very good, thank you. Reminder, in fact, it was posted to the city's website and Facebook page today. Again, property owners have 24 hours after snow ceases to fall, after a snow event, to clean up the public sidewalks adjacent to their properties. That was posted for 4 p.m. tomorrow. We did get a pretty good snow this time, and I know from running home real quick late this afternoon, it was wet enough that if it's been walked on, it's adhering pretty well. So we remind folks to please get out there and clear their sidewalks. City's goal is not to clear your sidewalk or enact or do penalties. Again, it's all about keeping our communities walkable and safe. The winter parking ban remains on hold. That's kind of old news, but will continue to be the case. Watch the city and Two Rivers Police Department Facebook pages for any updates. We don't intend to be enforcing the ban unless there's a major snowfall in the offing, or if it actually happens. I'll ask Andrew Sukawati, our water superintendent, to step up on this one. I think he shared some information on this with our utilities committee of city council this afternoon. And I'll lead in. I'll try not to use up all of the air on this, but council members all are quite aware of the enhanced lead and copper rule that is addressing the elimination of all lead services or galvanized services that are treated like lead in municipal water systems. We're on a 10-year time clock, at least as present EPA regulations stand. And there was a requirement which was met timely by the water utility to submit an inventory of all services in the system. Again, water service being the pipe from the main to your house. It's got two sections, a public section from the main up to the shutoff valve, private section from the shutoff to your meter. That inventory identified 4 classes of laterals by material: lead, galvanized requiring replacement, lead status unknown, or non-lead when the utility can affirm. Usually then it's a copper or plastic service. I would just highlight the water utility complied with the filing deadline, made that inventory available online, and did meet the requirement to by mail notify anyone with a lead or galvanized or lead status unknown by mail, along with some educational material. We did, however, about 2 weeks ago, get a notice of violation from DNR regarding how it was identified that the laterals were classified in that report. And so that is going to result in the need to notify every system customer per basically an EPA dictated template for public notice. Andrew can offer some additional comments on that. The utility is obviously working in good faith to make any modifications to the inventory. we still fully believe that what's been communicated to the public is accurate as far as the types of services that are in place. Andrew?
So to elaborate on that a little bit, we did have to create this inventory. The inventory for the city that we created is what we use to send out our notifications to the public. What we have a violation for is for the incidentals in this report. So I want the public to realize that if they did get a brochure, the material that we have on file at the utility or at the city is correct. That part of our inventory will not change. Unfortunately, there was some incidentals in the remaining part of that inventory that the DNR did not find satisfactory. But everybody that was notified prior to this, those notifications were correct. But we will work to correct the incidentals in that, refile, but unfortunately, we will have to notify everybody in the city.
And I would just say, there's not a whole lot of flexibility afforded in this. There's the ability to add some messaging specific to the utility at the end of about a 2-page notice. And obviously, you know, our utility takes this seriously, but any issues with the formatting or manner in which the information is presented in the inventory is treated as, I believe the term is a level 2 treatment violation. I'll stand here and tell all of you this, there aren't issues with the treatment of the city's water, but that's what
That is
applies.
unfortunately how they classify it, which sounds really bad, but it did not impact any of the water quality that went out for the city. These notices do unfortunately have a 30-day expiration window, so we have to have this out to the public within 30 days. So I know there's going to be some talk about why I think it's sent out with the bills. Unfortunately, we can't make that rotation of the billing cycle work with the 30 days from when we were notified. So they will go out in a separate mailing.
And that's every property owner has to have that, whether or not you have it, whether or not you have galvanized or lead or.
Correct, because it's considered a treatment violation, which goes to the entire community.
Okay.
Even if you have copper or plastic, which isn't a problem.
But if anybody asks or speaks up that had, you know, a lead, an unknown, or a galvanized brochure, those are correct. Those got sent out correctly. It's just the violation we have was for some of the incidentals, like I said, that go along with it. So
Category called basis for material classification. And I think to me, it's pretty clear the water utility knows why certain services were classified in the manner that they were, but the manner that was presented in the report did not meet the review at DNR, either by DNR or their consultant. They do have an engineering consultant assisting in this. So we'll keep you updated. I know Andrew and his team are working to find out exactly what needs to be done to the inventory to meet the standards. I don't know that we have a clear answer on that, but right now that's a priority right along with getting this notice out timely to
yeah,
all
we should have this
customers.
corrected very shortly. Most of the issues from the DNR that we've gotten, we've already corrected. I have reached out to the engineering firm that is contracted with the DNR. I'm meeting with them tomorrow to finalize and go through and make sure that all of the issues that they had are corrected. I will resubmit it as soon as we're done, which should be fairly shortly. But it doesn't matter. The fact that we have the violation is still going to cause the notice no matter when we get it in for resubmittal. But
We'll keep you updated on it.
and just so the public is aware, we've had, you know, some public outreach to allow everybody to know that if you are interested, you can come down to the utility office during normal business hours, and we can let you know that information if you are unaware of what we have on file or unaware by what you have in your home for your service at this time.
Can they call and email? Okay.
All that has been in the brochures we already sent out. It's also going to be in the violation letter. You can look in either one on the website as well. We can get you.
Just wanted to make sure that some of those that may not get out, that they can have another means. Perfect.
Thank you, Andrew. Council President mentioned earlier the meeting of the Community Development Authority last week. Just again, quick update. This is old news for some of you, but Phase 3 of the Sandy Bay subdivision over on the city's east side consists of 26 new home sites. They are priced anywhere from $57,900 to $74,900. Sales are being handled by the city's Community Development Authority, or CDA, which council deeded the 26 lots to the CDA. The goal is to recover costs as identified by the council when it approved the contracts for the infrastructure work over there. The contractor, Advanced Construction of Green Bay, has completed installation of all water, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer mains underneath the street rights of way in this expansion area. The preliminary rough grading for some stormwater features has been completed. They're not going to be doing much more until the frost comes out of the ground because recent weather drove it in pretty good. So there will be some final grading of the streets, some further shaping of the stormwater features. There will be, an advance should be done in, what would you say, Matt, June of this year at the latest? There will be another contract coming in front of City Council late spring, early summer, related to the installation of concrete curb and gutter and the first lift of asphalt on the streets. And either as part of that contract or probably a separate contract, the final work with finishing up and planting the stormwater, artificial wetland areas, stormwater management areas. And there are some utilities to go in yet, including underground city electric, gas by WPS, and then the telecom cable and telephone. Those will be happening in the spring as well. That said, and with knowing that that schedule's out in front of us, we did close on January 31st on the lot on that map that's identified as Lot 14 on the Raleigh Court cul-de-sac. And also last Tuesday, the CDA approved purchase agreements with Lakeshore Residential for 4 lots. And the lots they have a purchase contract and are to deliver earnest money on this week are lots 15, 16, 19, and 20. So there are 4 lots that are all together. And those folks who have built 5 spec homes in the subdivision hope to be realizing some economies from mobilizing and building anywhere from 2 to 4 houses there. So looks like Canadian lumber will stay cheap too, from what we see late today. So that's good news. Any of the sale proceeds from Phase 3 sales will be retained in, I think it's Fund 205, the Special Revenue Fund 210, one of those, the Special Revenue Fund for Sandy Bay, and then will be transferred out annually to meet debt service needs on the infrastructure. So off to a good start there. Reporting on several projects you've heard about earlier tonight from folks that were here. But when we talk about community and economic development, it's good to note there are a lot of good things happening, including several projects in the city's downtown area. I know you've heard about these before. They've been in front of council, but we'd just remind folks that the renovation of the former Elks Club building on 15th Street for an adaptive reuse as Violet Inn Lounge and Spa is coming along very nicely with an estimated opening in June of this year. That's an investment of at least $1.6 million in the downtown in a building that was blighted and abandoned and had gone back to the bank. That project is being assisted with a TIF grant of $130,000 and also has been approved for a city loan through the BIDC for $200,000. There are some nifty reels out on the Facebook page for Violet Inn, and these photos are just from some of those videos that are shared as Hammond Construction and the various subcontractors are making really good progress on the building. And then you see in the upper right-hand corner a rendering of what the finished product should look like. There is an application for facade grant monies that was received last week. I'll be bringing that to council and referring it over to Main Street's Design Committee for review. So that's Violet Inn. Good things happening over there. Likewise, this is from a over a month ago, but the expansion project at Sovie's Automotive is moving along nicely for spring opening this year. Just a reminder, that's over $1 million investment in downtown, assisted with a TID 12 grant of $200,000. That a pay-as-you-go grant, just like the TIF grant for Violet Inn, with annual payments funded with additional increment created by those projects. Yes, Two Rivers is getting a Taco Bell. That obviously is on the agenda tonight, and that's proposed for the former Family Video site. I guess Family Video will still, or an entity of Family Video will still own the real estate. It's a land lease. There is no city financial assistance for that development, but new investment with a new food offering in the downtown. And then you saw these gentlemen here as well, but Pop Start Pizza, that made the news this past fall when the BIDC approved a $63,000 loan. And actually late last summer, the council approved a $10,000 grant from TID number 8. These two gentlemen will be opening Pop Start Pizza at the former Luigi's. So they've pulled their building permit, and the Class B license was on tonight's agenda on the consent calendar that was approved by the council. As far as upcoming events, there's Coffee with a Cop on Wednesday of this week at the Two Rivers Senior Center at 10 a.m. So welcome, open to the whole community. Great chance to meet the chief, assistant chief, officers from our department, learn more about community safety, and have the opportunity to ask plenty of questions as well. Coffee with a Cop, Wednesday, 10 a.m. at the Senior Center. Other upcoming events, I think Darla might have mentioned, the TRBA has got a fundraiser, second annual comedy night fundraiser. That's this coming Saturday, February 8th, over at Sepia, where the Two Rivers Historical Society had a really great polka bowl, it looks like, this past Saturday. The Manitowoc Two Rivers letter carriers and a whole lot of bowlers will gather downtown at the Hook Lanes and Games for the 14th annual bowl-a-thon and raffle to benefit muscular dystrophy. That is in mid-February on Saturday the 15th and Sunday the 16th, right in the heart of downtown Two Rivers. A building that's getting a facade renovation with some help from the city. Woodland Dunes major fundraiser, their Tropical Blast over at Sepia Chapel, a little later in February, February 22nd. This usually sells out. I think there are tickets still available. Check that out at Woodland Dunes. Yes, the registration deadline is this Friday, February 7th. Also, annual event in support of Two Rivers Youth Sports and the good things they do. The Price is Right, also on Saturday, February 22, starting at 6:30 over at the Community House Gym. And if that wasn't enough, you've also got the hosts, Louis Viju and John Mino, taking the floor there for a 3-hour show and lots of prizes there. I know Councilmember Wahusky and the folks with Two Rivers Youth Sports always put on a great event. Also would like to mention more in the governmental sphere, the first City Council listening session at the Leicester Public Library. That's on Wednesday, February 19, starting at 6 p.m. That's in the seating area down by the fireplace. 3 council members will be present for that. I know our council president, are you planning to be there? Do we know the other council members?
Not yet. I have to
Okay.
send something out about that.
Okay, there will be
It'll be done by tomorrow.
3 council members, including our council president there. These are not televised or live streamed because they're meant to really provide an informal opportunity for citizens to talk with not a quorum, but a small group of council members and address any interests, any issues of interest or concern. I believe the plan is to try to do at least 4 of these each year, quarterly. And that's my report for tonight. Just another view of the lake. Thank you.
Anything under legislative intergovernmental?
Oh, you know
update?
what? I'm sorry. I always forget that one because they're back in session. So we'll be watching to see from the League of Municipalities what some of their legislative priorities are for the coming session. The other big thing is, of course, the many questions that have arisen regarding some of the executive orders. Some of them, one of them at least subsequently rescinded or withdrawn by the president, and some lawsuits regarding federal funding. The areas where, not being too political here, but where this is of concern to the city, We have over $400,000 in planning grant dollars for the planning a sustainable shoreline, addressing everything from the harbor to the south city limits. That contract was approved by council a week ago. There are 3 grants there. The one from Fund for Lake Michigan is not federal money. That's locked in. That's $66,000. But the other 2 grants both had their origins with Inflation Reduction Act dollars, either through the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, where the city's one of 2 Wisconsin cities that were selected for a waterfront resiliency planning project, and then also a grant of over $200,000 from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, which is getting grant money through the Inflation Reduction Act. Quite honestly, until there's better direction there, I've indicated to the consultants that we're on hold. We're not going to be authorizing expenditures under grants that call for a federal reimbursement. And I'm not sure what kind of reassurance it's going to take or be at this point until we got a pretty good feeling that we're pretty darn positive that there's going to be reimbursement. So stay tuned there. I don't know that we're totally clear on things like principal forgiveness and interest rate subsidies for lead lateral replacement either. A lot of that's under the bipartisan infrastructure bill and some Inflation Reduction Act dollars as well. So we'll see. You know, there are changes in administrations, priorities change. We just need certainty at the local level because we don't print money here. We have to pay the bills.
Right.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mike. The Faith in Place grant that Mike Mathis announced at the last regular council meeting in tandem with Grace Congregational Church, also Inflation Reduction Act dollars. So as of now, the funding agency has indicated that's on hold. So.
Buckley?
Yes,
Have
Mr.
you heard anything from the room tax or city's request for elected officials about helping with the room tax dollar collection?
Have not. Honestly, that's just going out. I'll go to confession on that one. But I have talked to our former senator, Senator Jacques, about it because my recollection was Andre was in on the ground floor of the legislation we have now, which was a big improvement over the past. But those are going out this week. Yep. Thank you. Yep, absolutely. So thank you with that reminder. We also have submitted our our primary request for reimbursement on the Roosevelt project to Manitowoc County. They had some questions. And is there a meeting set up, Matt and Cassie? Oh, today. Okay. Never ask questions you don't know the answers to. We should talk. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, not terrible is a good start. Not terrible. It's reportedly not terrible. So that's good. Thank you. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
That's all I've got for intergovernmental update.
Okay. On to number 10, consent agenda. Under A, we have presentation of minutes from the City Council regular meeting of January 20th, 2025. The recommended action will be a motion to waive reading and adopt the minutes. Under B, we have minutes of meetings. We have 3. One is from the Personnel and Finance Committee from August 6th, October 30th, November 14th, and 19th, 2024. Then we have the Plan Commission special meeting from January 22nd, 2025, and the Business and Industrial Development Committee Community Development Authority from January 28th, 2025. The recommended action is a motion to receive and file. Under C, we have applications and petitions. First one is an application for a temporary Class B beer license for Two Rivers Main Street, the Great Trivia Contest event for March 13th, 2025, from 5 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. at the Community House, 1710 West Park Street. The other one is an application for a temporary Class B beer license for Two Rivers Main Street for the Cool City Classic Car Show and Cruise event on June 27th, 2025, from 5 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. and on June 28th, 2025, from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Park West, 1700 Washington Street. Then we have one for an application for a temporary Class B beer license for the Two Rivers Main Street Brian Lee Memorial Blues Festival event for July 12th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Central Park West, 1700 Washington Street. Then we have one for an application for temporary Class B beer license for Two Rivers Main Street Ethnic Fest event, September 20th, 2025, from 10 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m., Central Park West, 1700 Washington Street. And an application for a new Class B license for Pizzeria Inizo LLC, DBA Popstar Pizza, for 1033 22nd Street for Justin Illness Agent. The recommended action will be a motion to approve the application and authorize issuance of the license. The recommended action for the consent agenda in whole will be a motion to approve the consent agenda with the various actions recommended.
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Shannon. Second by, thank you, Bonnie. Any council discussion? Seeing none, this will be an all in favor. So please, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all. On to number 11, city council formal items. We just have one tonight, the joint powers agreement between Manitowoc County Joint Dispatch Center and the city of Two Rivers.
Yes, this is an annual agreement. It's pretty much a one-pager. The second and third pages are a questionnaire or survey that came out to our fire department. I would note that this is the three major tenets, that it's effective for a year starting March 1st. It addresses that if emergency vehicles of the city are requested through central dispatch to respond anywhere in the county, there's agreement to respond, and that a copy be filed with the Department of Justice, is identical to past agreements the city has signed. It's an annual thing, to be honest. Sometimes it's come to city council, sometimes it's been signed at my office and returned. But we will endeavor henceforth to send these to city council. I don't think we have a lot of choice because it's all statutory, as you see, but would recommend authorization for the city manager to sign on behalf of the city.
Okay. For a motion then.
I'll make that motion to authorize city manager and city council to sign up for the agreement on behalf of the city.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And then second by Doug. Okay, any council discussion?
I was interested in reading through that. I didn't realize we supplied sandbags. I guess we have 20 available and 1,000 on hand empty. Do we ever use that?
I'm sorry.
He was talking about the sandbags. Have we ever had to use sandbags?
Oh.
He was surprised to see that in there. He didn't know it was in there previously.
You know, I'm trying to think when we had the very high lake levels even. I don't recall. That was from, I'm looking at Matt, that was before he was here. I don't recall that being the case. No.
But they're there just in case.
But they're there.
It's a good thing to have, just in case.
We did use them on School Street, on the east side, or south side.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. I was.
Yeah, go ahead, Bonnie.
Oh, is this mainly for the ambulance service? I mean, I was looking at it and I wasn't quite sure. Because when I hear dispatch, I think of calling 911. But is this specifically for ambulance service, or is this just an agreement with, we must pay something in for that 911, don't we? I just was
Essentially,
wondering
it's-
exactly
Central
what this was
dispatch
for.
is funded by the county. I'm out of my element. We don't have a fire rep. I assume this applies to all emergency vehicles of the
Oh.
city. I'm not sure if Assistant Chief Wiesner would know either. Joint
is here.
Powers Agreement.
He's right in the middle.
Oh,
What?
oh, yes, Chief,
right
you're
there.
there. I'm sorry. I was looking right past you. I thought you'd blended into the video screen. Thank you. In all honesty, I was looking for somebody else because I thought the chief wasn't going to be here tonight.
What was your question?
I was wondering if this was applying mostly to the ambulance sharing that you do in the different, in other words, is this mostly about your ambulance services, or is this all of dispatch? That's what
The Joint Powers Agreement.
The Joint Powers Agreement, I believe, is for all of our dispatching, I believe, for fire, EMS, and
Okay,
I don't have the exact document right in front of me.
well, okay, thank you.
This is something that we signed many times over and over again, correct, Greg?
Yeah, it's
So
it's
this is
approved.
nothing out of the
It
ordinary.
comes up on an annual basis for renewal.
I can talk to you about it afterwards.
Sure, thanks.
It does say, Bonnie, in the agreement, for the purpose of providing emergency services, including firefighting, law enforcement, ambulance, medical, and other
Thank you.
emergency services. So,
Ah,
yeah,
yes.
I missed that too. So, yeah, it's right in the first paragraph there. Anything else? Seeing none, this will be an all in favor. So please, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. On to number 12 for information only.
Just reminders that we have 2 council meetings yet this month, a regular meeting on the 17th, work session on the 24th. Again, although it will be posted like a public meeting, there won't be a quorum there. Council listening session again at Leicester Public Library on the 19th. I also noted in the margins on my agenda, last time Personnel and Finance got together, we had identified the next meeting date, and that would be Bonnie, Adam, and Mark as Personnel and Finance Committee. We were shooting for a meeting primarily with our Robert W. Baird representatives to talk about capital projects borrowing for 2025 on the evening of February 13, next week, Thursday. That's a problem because that is the chamber annual meeting awards program. I know Bonnie and I are attending. I don't know if any of the rest of you, I think, okay, Val had gotten notice out if you're planning to attend. Scott is. So we want to avoid that evening after all. I can talk to the committee members after the meeting, but, and Mark, you and I can catch up tomorrow, but Bonnie and Adam, if you want to make a note, I discussed, or actually Cassie, our finance director, discussed with our Baird representative doing something with an 8 a.m. meeting on next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, the 11th, 12th, or 13th. The 12th doesn't work for me, so I'd like to lobby for the 11th or 13th, if that works.
That would work for me.
And
It's fine.
Yeah, and I realize we probably have a hard stop at 9 o'clock on that one, but I guess, yeah, does
Tuesday.
preference for you guys?
Tuesday, if it works
Yeah,
for
that'll
me.
be okay.
Tuesday, next
Yeah.
week, Tuesday, 8 a.m. Okay, subject to confirming that yet again with Baird, we'll plan on that.
Are you gonna send a reminder or have Val send a reminder?
Yeah, we'll have Val, if that works, we'll send an appointment and
Okay.
then an agenda will go at the end of the week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And yes, Mr.
It
President,
would work for me too.
okay, thank you, Mark. Will you be back in town next Tuesday or will you be joining us telephone?
Yeah, so be back in town.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Maybe doing fine, so.
Yep. And I would request that council consider going into closed session as indicated on item 13.
Okay.
There may be action upon reconvening in open session, just in case anyone wants to stick around. I think we only have staff left here, or wants to come down. There may be action.
Okay, so on to number 13, closed session per Wisconsin statutes 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. Tonight, discuss recent communications from Vandenberg Arboretum regarding city utility services. Looking for a motion to go into closed session. Thank you, Shannon. Second by, thank you, Bonnie. Any council discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Amanda?
Bonnie Shimalunas,
Aye.
Scott Steckmeister,
Aye.
Adam Wahusky,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc, Mark Bittner,
Aye.
Shannon Derby,
Aye.
Bill Leclerc,
Aye.
Doug Brandt,
Aye.
Tim Petrie, all in favor.
Thank you all. And just like that, the microphones start working.